welcome everyone to another episode of UX Pathways. And I have the honor of being joined today by Branden Schossler. How are you, Branden?
I'm doing good, Mark. How you doing today?
I am really well. I'm excited to talk with you because I know you have an affinity for understanding the needs of an end user. However, you have a very interesting story. So I would love to have everyone understand what is your current role in the industry?
Yeah, it's a good question. I am the co-founder and producer for a company called World Crafters. We produce fully immersive experiences and events. So we actually go to different venues that are set up to do large scale productions, and we kind of set up shows that take up around 2 to 3 acres of space, bring in performers, have life-size animatronics from dinosaurs to dragons, and we do kids entertainment, and we blend entertainment with education and open world play. We try to, I don't take offense to this one, put down the screens. Like we try to make it like very just interactive and encouraging that community connection kind of stuff.
That's amazing. So when someone comes to one of your events, they're transported to some other place, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So we've got two different shows that we run right now. We've got Dino Fest and Fable Fest, and each one, the end user, who's let's say guest in my case, takes on a different persona when they walk in the doors. For dinosaurs, they're a conservationist helping to protect these dinosaurs in a sanctuary, and for Fable Fest, they're part of a magical guild where they have to save a kingdom from an evil goblin king.
And what's fascinating about that is I love how you kind of went back 10,000 feet and said, I have personas and there's an experience they're going through. So you seem to have a knack through this. How did you land in this industry?
It's a good question. Well, I would say that I've been in like entertainment since I was in high school. I used to do kids' birthday parties. As a superhero is one of my favorite things to say is I used to dress up as a superhero as I was in high school, do kids' birthday parties. And over time, that profession evolved and it was always a side business until 2022. And in that time period, between school and once I graduated, actually, where we met was at Hyland Software, and I was in the customer experience department. So my job was to understand what not just kind of be the customer service. A lot of people get service and experience confused. Service is about, okay, I have a problem, I'm calling in, and then that's customer service. Experiences, I'm trying to understand the overall impact the company has on you and all the different touch points you have with the company and making sure that overall that you are a promoter of the brand. So I spent, I think it was like 4 years at Hyland, and most of that time was in customer experience. So I learned a lot of things about journey mapping and personas and things of that nature, which really helped me with what I'm doing now. Because after that, I moved over to KeyBank, and at KeyBank, I was in their experience design lab. So that was also something cool that I got to continue those skills. I was essentially project managing over there. And all the while, kind of working on the entertainment stuff on the back end. And at that point in 2021, at the end of the year, I was doing a touring show, and that gave me the final ability to kind of step on my own and do what I was doing full time. And over 2022 to now, it kind of developed into this larger scale thing after I met my current business partner and we kind of built it into what it is.
Yeah, what an incredible journey. So it's you've been able to be in the corporate environment, understand how it applies customer experience, and then take that into your own business and then apply those skills. And that knowledge has made those experiences even more memorable for your audience.
Absolutely. There's a couple like really good books and reads and tools that I learned that I use today. There's the book The Power of Moments, which I really love, and they talk about those peak moments or like there's a specific term for it, but it's all about like there's like certain you know treasured moments in that experience that even if the overall journey was not incredible, if you hit those peak moments, it's gonna create that positive memory in the minds of the guests. So that book I really enjoyed. And again, journey mapping. I knew nothing about journey mapping until I got to Highland, and the experience with learning how to do it and going through journey mapping sessions. We did some work with Forrester when I was there, and so I learned from them how to do it really well. that has helped me in what I'm doing now. So we actually just built out a journey map for our Fable Fest, walking through and say, okay, when the guest walks through the door, what are they doing first and how does their day go about? So instead of a journey map, we might call it a day at X show.
Yeah, I love that. So it sounds like you're working on how to encourage that positive experience for end users. Why do you think it's so challenging to create that positive user experience with, yeah, just even applying it to your own, model?
I think a lot of times it's because of big picture versus small picture stuff. I think about it,
Hmm.
a lot of people have good intentions when it comes to the what they're trying to provide for the end user or the guest. But if you don't think about the little things, right? It's like balancing the little and the big things, then sometimes you'll miss the mark on it. I think it's extremely important, when we think about, okay, what is the guest going to be able to do at this time? And what are they going to see? What are they going to hear? What are they going to smell? Like that kind of stuff is really important versus if you were just looking at it and saying, well, let's just make sure that everything looks good. That's, I feel like a default that I see a lot of times. And thinking about it from that lens, I feel like it's difficult. It's difficult. Sometimes you lose sight of it. You're in the grind and you're like, let's just get it done. Let's get the product out there. Let's get the show out there. But you
Mhm.
forget that you got to make sure that it makes sense from the guest perspective, from the end user's perspective, and that it hits all those marks that you're trying to hit. It's just the details are difficult.
Yeah, so it's like that default experience. Stay away from that.
Yeah.
Focus on some of the scenarios and walking through trying to emulate the steps of what someone could experience, then that's going to trigger other things that you may have to pay attention to, which once again could be those small things and then understanding kind of the big picture as well.
Yeah, it's like that concept of the user experience lab stuff. I think that kind of stuff is so important. You got to put your head in the mind of the person who's going to be using the product or going to the show. Because if you don't, then you're just doing what you think they want versus how they probably interpret it. I don't have any kids myself, so we have to make sure that we're thinking about it from the lens of I'm a family with kids going through this experience, not I'm going to go through this experience.
Yeah, and whole other wave of tasks, responsibilities, things they're trying to do, and
Yeah.
thinking about, your experience that's immersive. It sounds like you're able to leverage the skills from your prior experiences, and then you've been able to move forward in a different career path, but still embodying everything that you've learned before.
Yep, they're still there. I like to tell people I don't think I'm actually still certified anymore, but I did get the certified customer experience professional. Like you have to go through the training and then you have to take the long exam on it. I did that and the certified project coordinator, the CAPM thing. So like those have definitely expired, but I still use that stuff. I still try to leverage some of the project management stuff I learned, and I still leverage a lot of the customer experience stuff in the way that I try to think about what we're doing and how it impacts them. And even like the venues that we work with, the people that run those venues are also our clients. So we're also thinking about how they interpret us, how we can address their needs. So I like to try to think about what situation they're in and what pain points they might have. And how do I make sure that when I come to the table as a partner, I'm not just solving one part of the puzzle, I can do the whole thing because I know how that would feel if I was in their shoes. I would feel that relief.
I love the way you're thinking. It's just, once again, I think just hearing you talk about your career and your path, you've been able to use those skills. But if someone was thinking about, okay, well, I'm thinking about maybe customer experience, or what you're doing sounds really cool, or I can make this immersive experience. What would you recommend someone thinking about getting into this profession of thinking about their end users, whatever that is, whatever you're trying to get into?
That's a good question. There's a lot of really good books that I feel like can help kind of get you acclimated. Again, I mentioned The Power of Moments, which I really liked. I like Mapping Experiences. It's another good book. I think the book is Outside In is another really good one too, because it thinks about it's all talking about like from your customer's perspective. And I think that one's a really, really good book. There's a couple other ones I read a long time ago when I was first getting into the field, but also there's the Customer Experience Professionals Association. That was a huge deal for me when I was in going into that industry. And I would say that that would apply for user experience to customer experience to client success, all that stuff. That organization is wonderful with the amount of professionals you can connect with. There's local chapters that you can join or just kind of shadow and be a part of and meet people in the industry. I mean, I'll be transparent in that my job transitioned from Hyland to KeyBank, and that was a huge career upgrade for me. That was because I met my future boss at Key in the Customer Experience Professionals Association. So they're wonderful. And also taking the initiative once you know enough about it to get involved, like take on a role, be a part of the planning committee. That's where you learn a lot, and that's where you get really inspired. And I would say the other thing that, and I did not like the industry that I was in, but if you can find an industry you really like and you marry that with getting involved in like understanding customer experience, design, I mean, you'll be happy for however long you're doing it. I mean, that's like the match made in heaven. It's like believing in the thing that you're selling. It's I used to when I was in high school, I used to work at Sears. Pour one out for Sears, and I used to work in their lawn garden and fitness department. I had to sell, treadmills and lawn mowers and snow throwers and stuff. And I remember coming home and I used to talk to my parents about it. I would like, I think I could do sales, but I don't think I could ever do sales where I don't believe in the things that I'm selling. And trying to sell those extended warranty programs, like I knew that they were just junk. And you're just like, I can't sell this to people. I can't righteously sell it. So again, believe in the thing, believe in the company that you're behind, the product that you're behind, and understand, and then dive into that kind of realm for understanding it from the experience perspective.
Well, we totally have something in common there because I also had worked at Sears and
Oh,
I had to sell hardware. So,
okay, all right. So you're
so
across the way from
I
me.
I completely understand. I could close my eyes and see how that was all set up. But the key things, you said some good stuff there. Is, I mean, I like the idea of networking and then get involved because once you get involved, that's going to also increase your knowledge level and then potentially more opportunities. And then just continually to merge those two things together so that you actually believe in the thing you're doing and you're having fun doing it. And then that's just going to propel you to the next level.
100%. Hmm.
Good stuff. Well, I appreciate being on the podcast. If people wanted to find out more about you, where would they go?
Oh, that's a great question because I'm kind of all over the place. We travel for these shows. Easiest way to kind of learn more about like me and what we're doing is probably to go to worldcrafters.com, or you can look me up. I wish I could tell you I'm on LinkedIn, but like not really. So if you go to World Crafters or you send me an email at like Branden@worldcrafters.com, that's the best way to get in touch with me. I don't do as much social media as I used to, so those are probably the best ways to look me up and see what's going on. I'd probably say those.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. And I think there's a lot there that people can embrace. I mean, there's a lot of passion about what you're doing and then thinking about how you can bring the best possible experience to end users, which I think just transforms across all industries.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again for being on the podcast.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.